Hey, the flood of users who have entered the meeting room slowly starting to slow down. So I think we are going to start. Welcome, everyone. This is the 2025 Aspect Virtual User Meeting. I'm happy that so many people made it today and that you all signed up to be here to hear some things about Aspect and maybe to get to know people. If you haven't done so already, we would like to use these first 45 minutes also to introduce ourselves to the others in the community. If you haven't done so already, there's still the chance to create one slide in that Google Drive folder that I linked to at the bottom of this slide. If you want to, feel free to prepare one slide for yourself or just speak up at the end of the introduction round. I will ask if we have missed anyone. In these first few slides, I will just give you an overview over this meeting, and then we'll dive into the introductions, and then we'll dive right into the first talks of the meeting. So just to set some logistical rules for this meeting, we would like to remind everyone to make sure that you are muted unless you are currently asking a question or giving a talk, just to prevent noises in the background for the speakers. Also, we would like to ask you if you feel comfortable about it to keep your camera on. It's always better for the speaker if they can see who's in the meeting. It gives us more room for interactions in this meeting. As a reminder, the presentations will be recorded and uploaded by CIG, the Computational Infrastructure for Geodynamics. You can find them on the CIG YouTube channel afterwards. All the materials for this meeting are available in a Google Drive, which is reachable using this link, so bit.ly/2025 aspect user meeting. And finally, this is an event that is supported by CIG, and CIG has a code of conduct for these sorts of meetings because we want to make sure that it's a pleasant and useful, productive meeting without harassment. So please, everyone, keep in mind the CIG code of conduct. Be polite when you ask questions. Don't judge people based on any criteria. I want to start this with a retrospective on 2024 before we get into the introductions and the plans for 2025. There is lots to be happy about in 2024, at least in the Aspect community. We had a lot of development. We had the 11th Aspect Hackathon at the CSU Mountain Campus in Colorado. And in this graph at the bottom, you can see the development history of Aspect. This is the number of commits per week. And you can clearly see that every year since 2014, we have a clear peak in 1 week of the year, which is usually our Aspect Hackathon. Also, we had 25 papers or theses who were using Aspect and got published in 2024. That is to say, 25 papers or theses that we know of. We try to collect the papers and theses that use Aspect in order to keep track for us, but also to be able to advertise these and to advertise the use of Aspect. If you have published a paper with Aspect last year or you submitted a thesis, then please check our website, aspect.geodynamics.org/publications.html, whether your paper or thesis is listed there. If it's not listed, then please send us an email or a message on Element or GitHub, wherever you like, and let us know about your paper. This helps us with the support for Aspect, but it also helps you because we can advertise your paper. And finally, I want to, as usual, give a big thank you to everyone who spent time this year and their effort on making Aspect better, because if you improve something in Aspect, then you make it better for all of us who are using it for our research. Just a brief summary of the hackathon last year. Like I said, we were at the CSU Mountain Campus, which is quite a apt description for the campus. It's literally in the Rocky Mountains. We had 21 participants there. We made a lot of progress with developing Aspect, 154 new pull requests merged. But also we had lots of fun and developed the community a lot further. There will also be something to be said about the hackathon next year in case you're interested in joining. It's not announced yet, but probably soonish. Keep an eye out on the forum. The results of the hackathon are available in a log document that is also in that Google Drive folder that you can reach with this link at the bottom of the slide. So if you're curious about which new features got added, you can see it in that document. And then finally, just before the year ended, we also had our next big major release, Aspect 3. You can find the release notes as usual on the GitHub website, but we will also have one talk tomorrow dedicated to talking about the major new features in this release. And I'm happy to report that since then, we have already accrued 12 new significant changes, which are always listed on our website. If you're curious, you can see them there. And that brings us to this meeting today. Our virtual user meeting is now a proud tradition that we do every January or February, whenever we find the time. And you can see that the number of participants is growing, or at least has stabilized on a very high number, which makes us very happy, because it looks like this meeting is useful for you and for us. And I hope that this year's meeting will be no different. The purpose of the whole meeting, as you might have seen already in the announcements, is to learn about Aspect, so which new features were added, to get answers if you have questions about specific features, but also just to connect to other users, see what other people are doing with Aspect, get to know them, make it less uncomfortable to ask questions, and just generally prepare Aspect for the future applications and requirements. So with that, I would say let's dive into the introductions before we move over to the first talks.